and ideas. It was a far-fetched idea, of course. Harbir could not imagine entrusting anybody with the contents of his mind, particularly his deepest disappointments. The letters sat in the bottom drawer. When Harbir first designated a place to store such letters, he was certain that just one drawer would be sufficient. There had been a promising future ahead. He and Dalvir had arrived in Singapore a few months before his sister Rashbal, her husband and their toddler Karam were due to follow. He had a dignified and respected post with the British military police. So he had not arrived in Singapore as so many migrants did, as laborers and construction workers from China and India. His job was to protect the citizens, and there were opportunities for promotions to higher ranks in the coming years. He and Dalvir lived in a modest but comfortable bungalow on the British naval base in Sembawang. The day Harbir heard the dreadful news of Rashbal and her husband's deaths, he sat down to write a letter, intending to inform his officers that he had to take a leave of absence to tend to some family matters, the last rites in India. The question of what to do with young Karam. Instead, Harbir began to write a list of questions. He asked his unknown recipient how Rashbal's ship could have capsized. He asked where her body was now, and how to carry out a funeral with only a memory. He wanted to know how Papa, having only lost his wife 2 years before, would cope with his grief. He asked, pleadingly and with hope, if the fact that Karam had been saved by surviving passengers was a sign that goodness existed. This letter was tucked away in the bottom of the drawer. Harbir hoped to read it again one day and feel a sense of peace, but over the years, more letters were piled on, burying those early regrets with more disappointments. His first son, Gurdev, born 3 years after Karam, was not athletic or confident. He pouted constantly and had outbursts of unnecessary emotion. His second son, Narain, was meek and always in tears. In his letters about these two, he speculated on the ways in which he might model another son to be more like him. When Dalvir was pregnant with a third child, Harbir thought God himself might have been peering over his shoulders and